Hey guys, welcome to Cab Radio, episode 2. Today's kind of going to be like an update on what I'm doing and what I'm planning for, I guess, the near future. The first episode, I kind of was giving kind of like a background of what I was and who I am as a streamer, I guess. But this episode, I've got some things in mind. For one thing, the future of gaming for me, and I guess potentially for all of you if you watch my streams. We got Resident Evil, Last of Us 2, Final Fantasy, Uncharted, etc., etc. I've got some PvP games, Destiny and the Division that I love, and of course, Battle Royale games. For some reason, I'm super competitive when I'm not too great in the competitive scene. But yeah, Apex, Warzone, PUBG, and the like. Also, horror games. And this one goes out to you, Shadow. This would never become a meme on my channel if I didn't show my true colors. So thank you very much. So horror, indie games, The Evil Within. I'm trying to do my playthrough on that, which I'm probably maybe halfway through, maybe, hopefully, because I think about 4 to 5 hours in. I hope it's not longer because I forgot how long that game was. But I also plan on playing the second game because I wanted to play that since I have it. And also, Araya is on the plate also, so that's going to be fun. And of course, Laika, this one's for you. The Souls-like genre. We've got Dark Souls. We finished Dark Souls 3, thank goodness, but it's been fun going back and beating bosses again with the New Game Plus. So we'll see how that goes in the future, but it's been fun so far. We got Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, of course, and all other games like Bloodborne, and then of course Demon Souls has been, I guess an announcement has been released for the PlayStation 5. Who knows if I'll get a PlayStation 5 or the Xbox, but we'll see. And of course I have my projects for the future, which is my art, and I want to do some art streams, upload my stuff to DeviantArt, or maybe even possibly more professional websites if I get better. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but let me know if let me know if you guys would pay for art, because it does take a long time, and I try to put as much as I can into it, but I'm hoping I'm getting to get better. Those character requests, I've been falling behind on that, I know, but hopefully I'll get back to it. Let's see here. I do have a list of those things I want to do. Vitrix, I am sorry if you're listening to this, and I still have the Doomslayer that I have to work on. Let me tell you, Doomslayer kind of it's pretty intimidating. Also, this podcast, it's another project that I wanted to bring up. I know that I put my first episode out like 3 months ago, and so it's been a while, but it's more so been intimidating to kind of sit here and talk alone by myself in the dead of night, because that's what I'm doing right now. And finding topics and figuring out what I'm going to talk about, those are pretty difficult, that I'm finding challenging. The first episode, I think I just kind of let it flow as far as like talking about myself, but at the moment I wanted to talk about Resident Evil and other topics like that, like video games and heck, maybe even movies. But for the moment, it's kind of hard talking to myself about certain topics. And you know what, maybe one day I'll I'll get some guest stars and, maybe get you guys to join in on conversations so I don't have to do this alone. It's nice to talk to somebody about all these things, even if it's all of you, giving me nonsense about being bad at video games, or joking around about how I fail all the time, because I think that's pretty hilarious in itself. But I have my YouTube that I'm trying to figure out editing and put my playthroughs on YouTube to see if that will, my content may live longer than I expect. But there's a bunch of copyright things and issues, and I think I'm gonna have to go throughout my channel and make sure there's no music that is copyrighted, because there's been certain things going around that people are getting flagged for copyrighted music. So I want to be sure that my channel still survives. And also just looking towards the future in gaming as far as the new consoles. I know PC is the master race, PlayStation 5 I would say is second place, and Xbox was dead last in the last generation. So we'll see what happens with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. I wasn't too impressed with the announcements for the PlayStation 5, and I'm not too thrilled about the way the PlayStation looks. So we'll see how that is in the future. And the Xbox, honestly, I don't really see too much going on there either, especially since they have the service for the PC. So, you're basically buying Xbox games on PC, and we'll see what Halo has to offer, right? But basically, that's kind of what I have planned for the future, and we'll see what I can do. Now, Resident Evil 8 was announced, and I'm a little on the skeptical side. Well, the thing is, like, I'll always buy a Resident Evil game. Like, no problem. I'll always buy a Resident Evil game. But when Resident Evil 6 came out, I was kind of disappointed with certain things, and as far as the story and the gameplay, and Resident Evil 7 kind of re-envisioned all of that and brought it back to life. So Resident Evil 8, I have hopes for the future. But as far as the theme and everything, it looks like there's werewolves and vampires, maybe witches and stuff. So in my eyes, knowing the franchise, that's not a Resident Evil game. So I'm feeling a little awkward about that. But Resident Evil 8, definitely playing it. Now, The Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2. What am I going to do about Last of Us 2? Currently, I am on the fence. I think I'm definitely going to get it, but I'm not sure when. Hopefully soon, though. But Last of Us 2, we know we beat the first game recently, and the second game has been having a lot of controversial things about it, mostly about the story, I think. So we'll see if we'll do that soon. And I kind of want to get into that before I get spoiled, because YouTube is just flooded with a ton of videos about playthroughs and stuff, and those thumbnails are terrible. People need to fix those thumbnails, because last thing I want to see is midway through the game and certain things that I don't want to see. And Final Fantasy VII, I think we're almost done with that game. We're about 27 to 28 hours into the game, so be on the lookout for that. I will get on that soon, but I'm excited for Final Fantasy. I still plan on playing the series. We were playing Resident Evil, or stupid, not Resident Evil, Final Fantasy VIII. The the last time, and I really want to play 9 and potentially 10 again because I've been listening to the music and I kind of miss it, to be honest, which is kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, and then of course eventually 12. I don't want to play 13, but I'm gonna have to play 13, and then of course 15 after that. I don't think I'm gonna play 11 and 14 because they're kind of MMO online games. I'm not too interested in it, but who knows? Maybe we'll see. I hear 14 is really good. And of course, as far as the story games go, Uncharted. I want to play Uncharted. I downloaded the PlayStation trilogy, right, for 1 through 3, and then of course I had 4 already, so I basically have the whole thing. But Uncharted, I really want to play. I've never played the series. I've only played a little bit of 3, and I beat 4, which is kind of awkward because, I beat the last one in the series. And then, of course, there was that spin-off game, which I have no idea about because I don't really know the character in there. But Uncharted, I have that in my sights. And Jak and Daxter, I've been told about that. And I kind of want to do the trilogy for that also. But that might be further down the pipeline because all of these games that I really want to play, especially since I love PvP games, League of Legends, Valorant. I'm recently getting into. It's actually really fun. I still have Rainbow Six Siege in mind. I put too much money into that to kind of just leave it by the wayside. But Rainbow Six Siege, and of course Destiny, the Division 2. Those games are, well, I've always been a Destiny fan, so we'll see what comes out in the future, and I'm going to continually play that, so that's definitely in the future. But the Division 2, I like quite a bit, but I feel like it has a finite amount of time that I'm going to be putting into it. We'll see. Maybe things will change if I try the expansion and I love it a lot more. But I do have those 2 games that I'm looking forward to be playing more of. Especially Destiny. There's a lot going on in Destiny that I'm pretty excited for. And that's definitely a game in the future that, I want to see grow and hopefully get better, because things have not been well in certain parts of its lifespan. And I'm sure a lot of people criticize it and give it crap, but I will always be there for Destiny, just like Resident Evil and Final Fantasy, because I am fans of those series. And Battle Royale, for some reason, well, here's the thing. Battle Royale, I know a lot of people love, but there's also a lot of people who don't like it, which is kind of strange. I'm going to be playing Apex, Warzone, and PUBG. I tried Fortnite, and let's just say Fortnite bugged me a little bit too much about its gameplay elements and everything. So, yeah, don't expect Fortnite in the future. And those games, Battle Royale, for some reason, like, the idea of being the last person standing, it's fun. It's been done so many times now that, you would think that you would get tired of it, but it's still there. And for some reason, I'm still there. I'm competitive, so definitely a game I'll be playing, or games I'll be playing. And horror games. Now, I've kind of dedicated a day to horror games. Friday, or Cry Day, as I like to call it. We've got The Evil Within that we've started playing. My sister was a big fan of it, and I believe the creator of Resident Evil, or at least probably Resident Evil 4, but like one of the main guys created this game, and that was definitely one of those things on my radar. And I beat the game when it first came out, and the second game released a couple of years ago, and I played a little of it, but I never beat it. So that's definitely a series that I want to finish. And of course, it's been so many years since I played it, so I gotta play through the first one again. And we're about halfway through. So looking out for number 2 also. And a game that a friend, you could say, a friend of mine now has recommended, and Araya. It's a horror game on the PC, and I played the demo. It's definitely unsettling, and I guess I got that on my plate now. And of course, I've got probably several other horror games that I have in store, especially those indie games, which are recommended to me. But as far as my personal recommendations, we have The Evil Within, and then, of course, Dead Space. I'll be playing the Dead Space series. I beat the first and second Dead Space, but the third one I played a little bit of, but I didn't finish it. So we're definitely going to do a playthrough of that series. And of course, we have Resident Evil. Some people would say Resident Evil is not a horror, but someone who doesn't have as thick a skin as most people, Resident Evil is a horror to me. So we'll definitely be playing that one. And I believe I've beaten some of the Resident Evil games. The first, the second, the third, like the remakes that came out. I should probably play the originals, but those are kind of difficult to get. I'm not sure if I could get it on the PlayStation, like with the old games you could get on there, but as far as I know, I don't think I can. Maybe Resident Evil 3, but yeah, I know I beat Resident Evil 4. I think those are the only ones. I beat 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll be moving on to 5, 6, unfortunately 6, and then 7. And 8 will be coming out. Hopefully we'll get to there soon. But yeah, that's kind of the games I have planned in store in the future, and I'm looking forward to it. And now here's the thing, like the projects that I'm trying to do, I feel like I'm an amalgamation of several different hobbies, right? There's gaming, there's my art, and then of course the YouTube or podcasting scene. And a lot of it is media and just a bunch of things put together. I'm a huge anime fan. Well, actually, maybe not so much anymore, but back in the day, I used to be a pretty big anime fan. I used to read manga all the time, and that's kind of what got me into drawing. So I've been wanting to do more art and posting more things on DeviantArt. Maybe I've heard of more professional sites that I could probably put my art on. So we'll see if we go there, because DeviantArt, as much as there's good art on there, good credibility, there's also a lot of, let's just say, interesting works of art on there, which I I'm not that big a fan of. And yeah, we'll see if I could do something more professional with my art. recently I bought a drawing pad which has the screen, so it it's amazing the difference that you have than drawing like on a drawing pad without one. And um, it's helped out a lot. I've been working on my coloring and figuring out what to do with certain shadings and the layering and so many other things. And I also use it to update things on my channel on Twitch. So we'll see. We'll see if I progress further and become better at all these things. And it's a little embarrassing, but uh, when I draw on stream, it's a little difficult for me to have people watching my uh, what would you call it? My step by step basis in drawing, because it feels a little terrible, especially when creating something from nothing and figuring out poses and the character design, because I basically just draw it on the spot, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it fails big time. So I definitely want to do more art streams, and let me know if they are interesting enough. But yeah, the character requests, I've been working on a couple of them, but there's also times where I kind of forget. So um, I'll try to keep on track with that. And like I said, Vitrix, sorry, I know you've heard this before, but I'll try to get back on it. Um, and there's definitely a lot of requests that I have to get through, which is actually surprising. It's nice to know that people are requesting those arts for me, and it's good to know that um, I have a queue to get through, but it's also bad to know that I'm behind. But I'll get that out there, and I'll be working on those character requests more. And um, this podcast, I want to talk more about probably topics involving the current situations. We had The Last of Us 2 that just came out, and I want to get on top of that. But also, there's the PlayStation 5 conference, and, well, I guess you could say just like announcements and about games and such that I would like to cover. And there's a bunch of things that I want to talk about, but at the same time, there's so many things that it's hard to pinpoint one thing. Kind of like now, I'm trying to make a generalization and talk about things that kind of balloon into a structure. Like, I'm talking about my channel and what's in the future of my channel and what I'm working on and what I'm trying to establish and do. So I think that might be the best way to go about this and kind of make a general thing. Like, I want to talk about Resident Evil, right? And Resident Evil, I could technically do an episode for each Resident Evil game, but I'm not sure if that would give me enough information. Maybe I can. Maybe I'm just undermining my whole thought process and everything. But things like Resident Evil and games in general, I do want to talk about. And maybe I'll talk about the entire series, 0 through 8. And I'm actually talking about like main title series, not the side spin-offs, or as much as I like Outbreak, I really don't see that as canon. I believe it might be canon, but at the same time, I don't think it should be, since it's not a numbered title. But yeah, like I'd like to talk about certain things like that. I mean, just then I gave my opinion on, Resident Evil in general. But I like to deep dive into these things, especially since I'm a big fan of certain series. And maybe I'll do uh episodes about Final Fantasy. Let me know what games you guys are fans of. I know I've heard some things about Mass Effect and Final Fantasy. I've met a couple of you uh, in the Final Fantasy scene, and we'll see where that takes us. Now, YouTube, YouTube is a little difficult because the funny thing about all this is all of these things take time. So, uh, just give me some room to try to figure out how I'm going to balance all these things out because I want to do them all, and um, I don't have much time with work and family and everything. So thank you guys for being patient with me, especially in certain situations where you guys are expecting things of me. Um, Duke, thank you for kind of prodding me and trying to get a podcast out because it has been like 3 months and it's one of those things where I kind of have to be pushed even further because I love doing this stuff, but there's also times where I'm just thinking I don't know if I could talk about a subject for 30 minutes. It's almost gone on for 30 minutes now talking about all these things, and I'm not sure if you could hear my voice if it's going out a little bit, but uh, there's things that take time, and um, we'll see. We'll see how well I do all this. But it's been good times. Everything that has been going on, I've been loving, and I hope that I'm gonna do more in the future. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for sharing your opinions to me, especially when I stream. And I guess I could plug my stuff, Twitch TV, Cab 2013. Search me up, KABB 2013. And for those of you who already know that, just wait till my next stream, and you'll always see me there being a goofy freaking idiot. But yeah, I'm always around, and join my Discord, check out my channel, check out the YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe. If you can on Twitch, if you want to on YouTube, just I'm here, I'm around, and don't be afraid to badger me. But let's keep it PG 13 at least. Yeah, yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for listening, and thank you for watching if you're on the channels. But I think that's pretty much it. The radio's going out. See you guys.